Robstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Sorry I'm late. I was working on some content, actually. Getting my NFL Week 14 picks out there for you guys. So, getting that out there. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Of course, you see the title, Are the Panthers the NFL New Nightmare? We're going to talk about the Bryce Young fifth-year option, the decision on that. We're going to talk about the playoff push this team possibly could get, right? And then it's going to be a full team breakdown. We're going to be talking about the offense, the defense. I'm going to be talking about all that stuff. Yeah, I appreciate everyone. We got the Thursday night football matchup on TV right now between the Cowboys and the Lions up here. Got him on the TV above me, which is why I have my desk pulled out. So now we're kind of back to normalcy in the office here. So we're back to normal. See, working on those NFL Week 14 picks as we speak. You know what I'm saying? While we're live. The Lions are a desperate team. The Cowboys can't stop the run. I'm going to take the Lions in that matchup. So shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm about to post this right now for you guys. Okay, NFL Week 14 rapid fire picks. All right, I got it. Trying to edit it, chat. Trying to edit it as fast as I can. Got a lot to get into. Got a lot to talk about with the bye week. And I'll have more content coming out to you guys this week, too. Probably do a live Friday night. I probably won't do a live Saturday. We'll probably do I don't know if I'll do anything Sunday. I thought about doing like a red zone kind of thing on Sunday with you guys for the 1 o'clock games, but we'll see. Might not do anything at all. Might just continue to just post content out there, get some bunch of shorts, get y'all a bunch of TikToks out there and stuff like that. Just make sure we get enough content out to you this week because it is the bye week, but this is normally when I like to try to take some time off, right? Okay. If you also go in the description of this stream chat, you'll see everything we're going to be covering. So we're going to be covering Bryce Young's future. We're going to be talking about the playoff push breakdown, full team breakdown. So we're going to be talking about the offense, the defense, and then we're going to talk about the NFL upsets nobody saw coming between the Rams, the Packers, the Cowboys, right? If there's anybody else I'm missing in there, maybe sweeping the Falcons could have been one because nobody expected the Falcons to be as bad as they were. But here we are. So we've got a lot to talk about and break down tonight. Pretty sure my mic hasn't been working for you guys either. But now I got it going, so I'm sure you can hear me better now. Apologize for that. Give me 1 second, chat. About to get this thing logged up on YouTube right now, actually. All right. Let's dive into some stuff I want to talk about here. So I want to talk about the first thing is, are the Panthers the NFL's new nightmare? Are they becoming the NFL new nightmare? No one saw coming, right? Because I can tell you right now, somehow, some way, I felt like this team has rewritten the entire NFC landscape, right? Right? And you're coming into week 13, right? That game against the Rams. You're coming into week 13. Was once again staring up at the odds at the board, right? As a heavy underdogs, right? You're facing the Rams, who Matthew Stafford looked like the MVP front runner, who's been carving up pretty much everybody, only had 2 interceptions. Every defense he faced this year, everything pointed to a setback for this team after that San Francisco loss, right? Hell, everything pointed to a reality check. Instead, we responded by punching the whole NFL in the mouth, right? You punched everyone. You punched the whole NFL in the mouth with that W. Again, no one expected you to beat the Rams. So the stunning victory over the Rams was I felt like was the most impressive thing we've seen all year, right? It was the second largest upset in the entire NFL season, maybe. I thought it could be number 1, right? Which team owns the largest, right? I mean, could you say the Packers was a bigger upset? I don't know. I would say the Rams are bigger upset. Both were number 1 seeds at the time too, which is crazy to think about. But these damn Panthers, man, they keep shocking us over and over and over again. No other team in the league has pulled off even one double-digit spread upset this season. We've done it twice. And it's somehow playing its best football when the rest of the world thinks we're rolling flat. Right now, the Panthers have become the NFL's most unpredictable, chaotic, horrifyingly effective underdog. Unpredictability has become Carolina's deadliest weapon. Here's the wildest part. The Panthers have only been favored twice this entire season. We were only favored when we lost to the Saints. We were favored 5.5 points, favorites, versus the Saints. We lost that 17-7. To put some context there. Then you were only a 1-point favorite against the Jets, which is wild to think about. You were a 1-point favorite against the Jets. You beat them. So those are only games that the betting markets believed in us. Everything else they've written off before kickoff. And yet, in those underdog matchups, we're 6-5. We are 6-5 in underdog matchups. A winning record while being repeatedly told that they don't have a chance. That's not a fluke, ladies and gentlemen. That's a team learning how to weaponize disrespect. I got him on the TV up here, chat. We got a new TV in the crib. Got a new TV in the crib. Hatred, we don't need more than a sweep, a Tampa Bay sweep. We sweep Tampa Bay, we're automatically in. We beat the Saints and we sweep Tampa, we're in. It's not going to take that as much people as really much people think. There's multiple scenarios on how Carolina can get in. But see, the thing is that we are just an unpredictable team. Like this doesn't happen without a quarterback leveling up. And Bryce Young has did exactly that against the Rams. Again, that's the most cleanest performances we've seen from him. Okay. 15-20. 206. A crisp 10.3 yards per attempt. 3 touchdowns. A 43-yard dagger to Tetairoa McMillan with the game in the balance. This wasn't a game manager day. This was a quarterback playing loose, playing aggressive, and he was in total command of the offense, chat. In my opinion. Now, The offense was steady, but the defense was a full-blown tornado almost. Now they made plays. They forced 3 turnovers. They had a pick six by Jackson, a game-sealing strip sack by Derek Brown. Derek Brown tipped that ball up for that end zone interception. If Young and this offense were smooth and efficient, the defense was a swirling storm of pure chaos. And for context, Matthew Stafford entered this game with 28 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions on the season. And we forced him to have 2 in that game. Shout out to everybody in chat. Again, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure y'all click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out any new content. I would greatly appreciate that as well. All right. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Let's get to some of the people in the chat. Earl Locklear, what's good? Kenneth, is there a way to see how long you've been following? I could probably look for myself. I don't know. You guys probably can't see it, but I can. I can check for you. The one and only Ken88. What's up, Clay? What's up, man? Andrea Pacheco. I know we need to win the division, but what would be more beneficial, Lions or Cowboys win? I would probably say a Cowboy. Actually, I'm not too sure. I would say a Lions win, no, and puts the Cowboys out because they're in the hunt. Because the Lions, they're not going to put 3 teams in from that NFC in the NFC North. Old school Panthers fan, keep pounding. Hatred's in the chat. Panthers guys up. Steve-O with the $1.99 donation. Shout out to Steve-O. Steve-O comes in and says, I need to see what Princely and Jimmy Horn Jr. can do. Shout out to you, brother, for that donation. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you. What else we got here? Steve-O, we have to sweep the Tampa or we're out. Yep. Shout out to you on that. Another $1.99 donation. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate that. All right. What else we got here? Carolina Panthers guy comes in and says Bryce has had more 130 and 80-yard games, 1 interception games than he's had good games. I want Bryce to succeed. Yeah. The quarterback that won the Super Bowl last year only threw for 2,600 yards. Y'all got to remember that too. But I understand where you're coming from. Lions have to win. All right. So that's what I figured. I figured the Lions would be better at winning. I'm not scared of Tampa. I believe we can win out. I hear you, QJ Smith. Is that Q? I think it's Q. QJ Smith. Appreciate you coming through, brother. We need the Cowboys to lose because that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Roy Blake comes in and says, hit that like button. What's up, Roy? Ken becomes a 3-month member. Shout out to Ken for being a member for 3 months. I greatly appreciate that.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But here's the thing, that we've had a lot of unexpected heroes, right, with this whole thing. We've had some real progress. We have a team that's refusing to follow the script. Chuba Hubbard, again, put together one of the most complete games of this year for him. 83 yards, a receiving touchdown. Second year, you got second-year wide receiver Jalen Coker continue to have his breakout trajectory, with a 4 catches, 74 yards of the score. Y'all know how I feel about Jalen Coker if you watch my most recent short about him, right? That's the thing. Again, these aren't flukes, ladies and gentlemen. These are young players who are really growing into real contributors. All right. With this win, Carolina reached just 7 victories, something we haven't done since the Matt Rule era, which is crazy to think about. Well, it wasn't Matt Rule. Well, Matt Rule got fired today. You know who stepped in. Steve Wilkes, which a lot of people still believe that he should have taken over. Who knows? I agree that he should have taken over, should have got the head coaching job, but who knows what would have happened, right? We don't know if it would have been a good hire or not. He's kind of been hopping around the league as a defensive coordinator. Well, what happened in San Francisco, they should have never let him go. But then now he's found himself with the Jets. It's not really fair to him to be judged off of that, but I would love to have Wilkes. I would have taken Wilkes as our DC again over Ejiro Evero. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? But that's a small milestone for sure. But it's very symbolic. Every season, there's that one team that just refuses to follow the plot. Like one team that breaks the league's like assumptions, right? And it forces everyone to adjust, right? I just think this year that's what this team is, right? They weren't built to dominate. They weren't expected to contend either. They weren't supposed to knock off 2 of the NFL's best teams as a massive underdog either. But they did it twice. But here's the thing, chat. The Panthers are a team now that no one wants to face right now. It's just like how Dave Canales said, we've seen the best of the Rams football, but they haven't seen the best of our football. What Dave Canales said, which was an absolute bar. And I probably botched it. Shane, you can say it 3 times they did that. Yeah. You can say it 4 times they did that. Hell, you were down 17. What were you? Down 17-0 against Miami. You come back and win that one. Weren't we down 21-0 to the Cowboys? Came back and won that one. You beat the Packers, number 1 seed at the time. They beat the Rams. So really, you can say 4 times, no? Because you're down 17-0 against the Miami Dolphins. Technically, if you're down 17-0 to a team, it's really hard for you to come back. Especially what we've seen from this team up to that point at the time, if you go back and think about it, which we're going to go back and break all those games down. So technically, it's happened 4 times. But again, as underdogs, again, like I said earlier, this team is 6-5. I hope they continue to make us underdogs. I want them to be underdogs from every game here on out. But they become a problem because in the purest football sense, they are unpredictable enough to be dangerous and confident enough to finish games and explosive enough to swing momentum out of nowhere on your ass. That's the thing. So for the first time in years, chat, I just think that this team that can walk, this is a Carolina Panthers team that looks like they can walk into your stadium and just punch your playoff hopes right in the mouth and jog out smiling. Unpredictability isn't just their identity. It's kind of their superpower, if you think about it. The perfect example of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And right now, the Panthers are the NFL nightmare no one prepared for. No one wants to play us. The Carolina Reaper this year is very, very true. The Carolina Reaper with this team is so true. Steve-O with the another 199. I don't think we had this much depth on the defense. Yeah, we'll dive into that defense. If Canales and Bryce could stay on the same page, we win. That's a good point. To be honest, we all need to revisit the CJ Stroud versus Bryce conversation. Bryce has been outperforming Stroud since he got his starting job back. Stroud's hot right now, though. But you might be able to make a case. Y'all see that stat when the Panthers are 10-point underdogs, they are 4-0, and the rest of the entire league. Yep. Any news on Hunt yet? I haven't heard any news. Right? I haven't heard any news yet. But I do think we're expecting him to be back. Let me see something on. Let's see. I think I saw something on X. Give me a second. Did y'all see this? Yeah, I'm just gonna share this with you guys. For entertainment purposes. And then we'll dive into some other stuff. So this is kind of funny. Electric fans in Charlotte went crazy celebrating the streets after the Panthers' big win over the Rams this week. Carolina is lit when they have a winning football team. Let's see what's going on here. That is awesome. That's great. I don't care what anybody says. That is great. That is great. That is what we need, man. That is what we need. Oh, Tom Brady in the chat. What's up, Tom Brady? Uh-oh. Look at Tom Brady in the chat, man. Tom Brady in the chat. Get out! What's up, Tom Brady? Appreciate you coming through, brother. I'll be at Tampa Bay home games. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for that $199, by the way, again.
Oh, brother.
Shout out to you for that $199 donation. I gotta keep Ellis is going head home. All right. Let's get into some other news. Not really news. Something I want to talk about. We're going to go through some questions. I got some questions that need to be asked, chat. And I want you guys to sound off the comments about this, okay? All right. Because I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts, right? When we look at this roster here, I really want to focus on this tight end room. Actually, I'm going to pull it up on PFF. Let's go to PFF. That'd be better anyways. You'll be able to see the teams better on PFF and the lineups better. And we'll go by position. All right, so let's go look. You look at this tight end positions. Oh, it's not a safety. Okay. Not a safety. Look at you look at this. We look at this roster, right? So the first things first, chat, that I have some questions out. All right. Who the hell is our tight end number one? And sound off, chat, because I do want to know. Who the hell is our tight end number one? In y'all's opinion, who is the tight end number one? When we're looking at this roster, who is it? If we're looking at this roster right now, who is tight end number one? Hey, guys, I want go ahead, get in the comments. I want to hear from everybody. All right, so we got Rolly who says Evans. Eric Blair says Evans. Steve-O says Mitchell Evans. Earl says Evans. QJ Smith says Evans. Shane says we don't have one. Okay. Interesting. Keep them coming. Because this is an interesting question because this tight end group, in my opinion, chat, is one of the most puzzling positions and situations on this entire roster. It's not bad. It's just matting. It's just very inconsistent. Carolina Boy says no one. Y'all hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that, Nick Tri-State. Shout out to you, brother. Hope all is well. Roy says Sanders. All right, so some weeks, the fifth-year veteran Tommy Tremble flashes. He has like these breakout game, and it feels like he's about to have one right around the corner, right? And he always tries to. It seems like he's always trying to like jump somebody. You know what I mean? Like he's always trying to hurdle somebody. And then other weeks, you got Tre'von Sanders is being force-fed targets. I felt like they were trying to manifest this like tight end one out of pure willpower with him. Right? And then the rookies, Mitchell Evans, quietly stacking reps, showing glimpses of potential long-term answers. But here's the problem that I have with this tight end room is that no one has separated themselves, not even close. I get Mitchell Evans. He's quietly stacking reps. He's showing glimpses. I think that there's a lot of potential of him being the long-term answer too. Okay. But again, I just don't think anyone's separating themselves. Tommy Tremble's a great blocker. So is Mitchell Evans. Right? Tommy Tremble's had some flashes. He's made some big-time plays. Right? So is Mitchell Evans. Tre'von Sanders has made some big plays as well, but has missed some blocks, right? And I don't think Tre'von Sanders' blocking is bad. He just misses them. But Tremble, Sanders, and Evans sit as the team's 6th, 7th, and 8th leading receivers with just 48 yards separating the whole group. So across 13 games, this trio has combined for 500 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is fine. But that is what we're looking at. Okay? That is what we're looking at from this team or from this room, tight end room. I think Carolina can survive with this type of committee. But at some point, somebody has to be that guy. Based on his reliability, based on his run blocking, based on his general steadiness, right? Evans might actually already be earning that title, whether anyone officially declares it or not, I think. But we don't we don't need a superstar here. We just need someone to consistently show the hell up. I know our tight ends are going to show up between Trimble and Evans in the run game. I know those guys are going to show up. I get it. They're great run blockers, but the problem is I feel like we need somebody who can open up the middle of the field. Like Tetairoa McMillan does that. Jalen Coker does that as well. We saw that against the Rams. We've seen Tetairoa McMillan do it all year, especially when he's lined up in the slot. But we threat over the middle. A big tight end, a 6'4", 6'5" tight end that can create separation, get open in the middle of the field, and be a reliable target for Bryce Young, right? Because 500 yards between a trio and 3 touchdowns is not really that kind of clarity you want, especially if you're trying to make a playoff push. Sorry, I got the Cowboys game on. Rock Jones, don't even start that bullshit. You just trying to start something with that comment. Sanders just is starting to fade a bit more and more like XL for me. I feel you. Sanders can do that. Open up. I haven't seen it, Roy. I hope that's the case. I would love that to be the case. I haven't seen it. Sanders has been underwhelming. Yep. I like Mitchell Evans' awareness already. He just knows where to be like Coker does. I like Evans developing into a great tight end. I think it can happen. It's just taking time. They did go with 13 personnel and Bryson as a wide receiver, run frame. True. All right, so let's talk about another gentleman that we were talking about earlier, and I want to talk about because you brought it up, right? I think Bee's Knees brought it up actually. Where is he at? Let's talk about Mr. Robert Hunt real quick, chat. Let's talk about Mr. Robert Hunt. When is he coming back? What is the time frame? So while you were asked that question, okay, while you were asking that question, Ms. Bee's Knees, I did go through. Okay, I did go through, did some research on Mr. Hunt. All right. I did. I did. I went and did some research for you real quick. This might be the biggest swing factor of them all if we can get this guy back. This guy is arguably the Panthers' best offensive lineman. He hasn't been he hasn't played since week 2 after tearing that bicep. Since then, we basically have had a revolving door. Chandler Zavala, Brady Christensen, Austin Corbett, Jake Curhan, which has been solid. You name a guard, they've probably taken a snap there, right? Here's the wild part. The offensive line hasn't collapsed. not even with 10 different starting combinations, they've hung in there, even opened things up at times, and the offense has grown because of it. But getting Hunt back, it would be a game changer, chat. Would be a game changer. Now, Dave Canales did update us on Monday. And it was very optimistic about what he said. But it was also very intentionally vague. Hunt is stronger. He's progressing. He's in the return play phase, but they're not rushing him. Okay, so Canals made it clear that they need him at full strength. Okay, before he can realistically deal with 300-pound humans again. All right, and try to toss those guys around. So the truth to be told, it's a coin flip. They might have him back. They might not. If he returns to offense, this offense is going to be next level. Next level. All right. Now, my question to you, chat, is this. When we go look at this roster, too, from a when we go look at this roster. When we go look at this secondary roster right here, chat, you look at these. Is Thieves Avenue officially back? Is Thieves Avenue officially back? Y'all remember Thieves Avenue? Are we officially back to the Thieves Avenue with this secondary? Guys, we got 39 people watching. We've only got 21 likes. Get them likes up. But again, are we back? Is maybe Thieves in training? According to Trey Boston, yes. Yeah, they're back. Thieves Avenue is back. Feel like I'm loving it. I think Thieves, here's the thing. If you squint and you start looking look at it like this, Panther secondary straight up balling lately. All right. 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. Fun little fact for you. Not against slouches either. You had 2 of them in that Rams game. They've done it against 2 highly respected offenses. Okay. The swagger's starting to return. This unit, of course, having J.C. Horn back is going to be huge, who's already hit a career high with 5 picks this year, by the way, and is playing like someone who wants his name in the shutdown corner conversation. Again, Mike Jack's coming off a pick 6 against Matthew Stafford, who had a pick against Brock Purdy the game before. He's having a monster season of his own right now. We know that there's times that Mike Jack has his moments, right? Add in steady, timely plays like with Tre'von Moehrig. And Nick Scott made a pick. The ball hit for him having some sense of awareness when Derek Brown tipped that pass. You got to give him credit where credit's due on that, chat. Right? Suddenly, again, no one is saying this defense is fully back to the level of chaos and swagger, but the attitude is legitimately similar. And if they keep even half of that energy going, Carolina becomes a real threat in December. We will be a real threat in December if this defense and secondary keeps playing like it has been. All right. Now here comes the big question for everybody, which we're going to dive. Whoops. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Whoopsie. I hit the wrong button. My bad. My bad, chat. Hit the wrong button. Anyways, comes the next big question, though, chat. Which we're going to dive more into him. But there is a question to be had. The question it becomes with Bryce Young. Can Bryce Young stay consistent? Right? That's the question. Can he stay consistent when it matters most? That is the biggest question. This kid's season so far has basically been a roller coaster built on top of another roller coaster. That's what this has been on. It's been built on a top of another roller coaster. Some weeks it looks like a future all-pro. Next week, you're wondering what the hell just happened. But then on this Sunday, right, he bounces back after a rough game against the 49ers. Bounce back. Right? That's where it gets interesting because when Young plays loose and aggressive, it allows him to push the ball down the field. Right? And this whole offense then opens up. But then the problem is inconsistencies. 1 week he's breaking franchise records like he did against Atlanta. Then the next week he looks stuck in neutral like he did against the Niners. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The talent is there. I've always thought that. The poise is there. I've always thought that. The question is now, and it has always been for me, now is whether he stack these performances. We saw him stack some of those last year. Avoid the valleys, right? Be steady hand as this playoff hunt gets closer. If he keeps letting it rip deep like we saw against the Rams and what we saw against the Falcons, right? This offense can absolutely hang with anyone. But again, it comes down to Bryce Young consistently stacking those type of performances, right? That's what it comes down to. Stacking these type of performances. Now, again, there is another question that kind of goes along with Bryce Young, though. And it has to do with Dave Canales. Is Dave Canales ready for what's to come? Just like his quarterback. Like, Dave Canales has had a season of highs, and he's had a season of what the hell was that? And he's had a bunch of those moments. So it's undeniable that he has the team headed in the right direction. But some of the criticism this year has been fair. Like his game plan versus the Saints in week 10 was rough. His approach against the 49ers, again, also rough. But when you look at the week 11 and the week 13 offense, it's a night and day because it actually looks cohesive. You see what he's trying to build: a balanced attack, a nasty two-headed rush duo, a passing game that takes advantage of downfield opportunities instead of living at checkdowns. And you're keeping off defenses honest because you're able to run the ball. But then you're also keeping the defenses honest because you're able to push the ball down the field. You're able to push the ball over the middle with Jalen Coker. You're able to have those 43-yard shots with Tetairoa and McMillan. There's a formula here. Now the question becomes whether then can Canales stick to his identity when the pressure ramps up. Because December football demands consistency from the headset just as much as it does from the players. The path is there. It's just on Dave Canales to walk it, right? So those were my burning questions, man. Those were my burning questions going into this offseason. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all interacting in the chat, by the way. Hey, Robstar, what's going on? I honestly think everybody is gonna be on the Saints winning and the Panthers let down, so Carolina will be prepared for it. Too many people saying Saints win and Panthers win. Not sure what your I don't think a lot of people are gonna be picking the Saints to win this game. We'll have to see how the Bucks fare up against the Saints. But I don't see that being the case. I don't think I honestly think that we'll beat the Saints. We have to. It's no question about it. It all starts with what we do against the Aints. Going to be locked in right away. Yep. Tet Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. I mean, he's leading all the rookie receivers. Is he the Rookie of the Year? I don't know. Carson Schwarzenegger over there in Cleveland is having a hell of a year. And then you got to think about Ibuka as well. It's close. I want Tet to win it. But if we're being honest, it's close. Can he win the Rookie of the Year? I think it's going to come down to this 4-game stretch. If Tet can go off the next 4 games, he's going to need a 4 catches, 70 to 90 yards, and a touchdown a game. And I think he could close it out. But he's going to need something like that. Bryce can only be consistent as his coach. Steve-O. That's an absolute bar, my friend. Bomb drop by Steve-O there. Totally agree with that. It's proven at this point. The bye week is being so late this season. I was for sure would screw us bad, but surprisingly, such a blessing for sure. What's up, Clay? What's up, Panthers boy? SC Panthers boy. Yeah, I'm honestly not worried. I think the Panthers beat the Saints. It's the game at Tampa I'm worried about at the end of the year. I almost think it's better if the Bucks win in Carolina, and if we split Carolina, win at Tampa. We'll see. Plenty of the people in the media saying not to give Bryce the 5th-year option, but I believe in Mighty Mouse. Interesting. I'd be happy Tet wins, but they'd be hating on the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. Let's talk about Bryce Young now. Some more. Since we were kind of talking a little bit about him. Let's talk about Bryce a little bit more, chat. Let's talk about Bryce a little bit more. Bryce Young in the last 3 games. 823 yards, 7 touchdowns, 64.6 fantasy points, 2 wins. That's in the last 8 games. Last 3 games, sorry. I think he probably has like 1 pick. I think he has 1 pick in the last 3 games as well. Against San Francisco, didn't he throw 1? Yeah, I think he threw 1 pick against San Francisco. Was it 1 or 2? I'm trying to remember. Do y'all remember how many picks he threw against San Fran? How do I get a membership back? Just notice it's gone. SC Panthers boy, I will send you the link now, my friend. I'll send you the link right now in the chat. If you want to become a member, here is the link in the chat right here. He threw 2 against San Fran. Actually, the link is in the description as well. SC Panthers boy, if you click it, it says become a member of the Robstar gang. It's right there. It should take you right to it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it pulled up for you. See if that works. Or you can click on the dollar symbol next to where the types the chat. So yeah, you can do that as well. I forgot about that. You can click the dollar sign right here and then unlock membership perks. Unlock membership perks. So the dollar sign on the chat, you see the dollar bill, you can click on that, become a member. Clay, it was 2. Okay, so he's got 7 touchdowns to 2 picks. His QBR rating at this point, I think, is like a 64.6, which has gone up compared to last year. Let's see what else. There's a chart that I had saved. Oh, here's that underdog. The Panthers were double-digit underdogs against the Packers. The Rams walked away. Teams as 10-point underdogs this season. Panthers are 2-0. The rest of the NFL is 0-14. There was a chart, though, that I had. And it's with Bryce's progression over the years. NFL, also, you got to think about this. Passer rating was a 147.1 in that game. He led the NFL in that. EPA per dropback, Bryce, plus 0.61 yards per attempt, 10.3. Bryce becomes the second quarterback in next-gen stat era since 2018 with multiple touchdown passes that traveled over 10 yards on 4th down in a single game. Joe Flacco in his Bengals debut during the week loss to the Packers was the other. I'm trying to find that chart that I was looking for you guys. Trying to see if I have it. I guess I don't. But that's okay. This is also a crazy stat too, chat. Since entering the league, Bryce Young has a 48% win rate when trailing by 7 or less in the fourth quarter. Only Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts have a better percent in that time period. Clay was 2. Yeah. There you go, SC Panthers boy. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you, my guy, with that one.
You like that?
I do like that. Shout out to you for becoming a member. When counted out, we rise to the occasion. Feels good to be back in action. Yep. Saints punked us last time. No excuses, no mercy, no doubt. Yeah. I really, as much as I love my boy TJ, I really want us to beat the Saints. I want to blow them out. I want a 40-9 game. Like, I want to beat them the way the Bills beat us. All right, let's dive into this because the question is, you're facing a franchise. You have a franchise decision on Bryce Young. There's been a lot of talks about us, picking up the 5th-year option. We all know about that. Everybody knows about the 5th-year option. It's been talked about for quite some time, man. Appreciate you, man. Great content as usual. Thank you, man. What's good, Trizzy? My Carolina family in the chat. Appreciate that, though, brother. Thank you so much. All right. So, what the hell should the Carolina Panthers do about Bryce Young's 5th-year option? That's the question. Now, again, Dan, I saved it. Where is it, though? Dan Grazzano is the one who started the whole thing. Wish I could find it. If it was right here, I would have it here. Well, we'll use this one for now. We'll just use this post for now. Panthers are expected to exercise Bryce Young's 5th-year option. Okay. It was ESPN's Dan Grazzano who and multiple NFL insiders as well. Carolina, see, this is the thing. We have a pretty clear direction in mind. And honestly, it's the only one that makes sense. We got to talk about the progress between the chaos and the reality of Bryce Young being a 3rd-year quarterback. Right? Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bryce Young has been a roller coaster, strapped onto another roller coaster. Again, 1 week he's the franchise passing record, the next he's struggling into rhythm. Yeah. So, yet when you zoom out, right, and you take the lenses off and you zoom out, the bigger picture tells a far more encouraging story. I've been very critical of this kid. I've been very criticized this kid, and rightfully so. I think there's times to be rightfully so, right? But the bigger picture, I think, tells a far more encouraging story, right? Again, here's a fun stat for you. I'm going to show you an encouraging stat for you. Since Bryce Young was benched, Bryce Young has started 21 games across the late 2024 and the 2025 season. All right, we know that. Since his benching, he's had 31 total touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a league-leading 9-game winning drives. Okay? Here's a sample of the 10 games that he had. 61.8%, 21, which I think is pretty correct. 20 touchdowns, total 6. That was last year. Okay. Right. So these numbers aren't any fluke, chat. Okay. Right. Those aren't fluky numbers when we look at it. Okay. Those aren't fluky numbers. Hold on. Let me scroll. I think I need to zoom in for you guys because I don't think you guys could see that very well. Let me zoom in on that a little bit more. Let me double check. I think you can see that now. Maybe we'll go one more. All right, there you go. All right, so there it is, a little bit more zoomed in for you. All right. Those aren't fluky numbers. That's a quarterback who, while imperfect, has repeatedly delivered when it matters. The latest, of course, is the Rams game. So let's go back to that. Let's go look at the Rams game. Let's go look at that pattern real quick. All right, 15-20, 206, 3 touchdowns, 2 4th-down bombs that flipped the game on its head. Consistently remains the missing piece. Consistently remains the missing piece. He actually has Super Tre'von. You missed the concept of what I was saying. The 21 starts since he's been benched. Up to that point. Well, he might have 11 up to that point after 21 starts since his benching. So I guess, yeah, maybe he does. I know he has 11, but I was thinking that the stats that I was looking up was based off just the 9, but that's okay. We all know, but I do know that stat too. He actually has 11 game winning drives. Youngest player ever to have 11 game winning drives. I do know that. I get it. The consistency again remains the missing piece for me. Some of the swings are downright wild, and even the organization acknowledges. So, is that enough to justify him for a 5th-year option? One major NFL insider thinks that the Panthers already know their answer, right? Because Dan Granzano, and I passed it down here, right here. Granzano says that they still believe in him. They expect him to pick up the option. And here's a quote from Dan Granzano's Intel dump. Basically, what he said is this, and I got a quote here. I covered the Panthers this past weekend, asked a bunch of their people about Bryce Young. From what I can tell, okay, they still believe in him. They use 10 different offensive line combination, have a young receiver room, so the team seems to think the ups and downs can be blamed on more than just the quarterback. Okay? So that line tells me that they still believe in him and is the one Panthers fans have been waiting to hear. That is the line they've been waiting to hear. Granzano goes further and says this: the Panthers will have to decide by the 1st of May whether to pick up his 5th-year option for 2027. I expect them to do that because the cost will be reasonable, around $26.5 million. So $26.5 million is a massive chunk change, right? But in quarterback money, it's a damn near bargain. That's less than half of the going rate for a reliable starter, let alone a franchise quarterback. So, but after the option is picked up, that's where things get complicated. Okay. So, why the Panthers can't jump into a long-term extension yet is a good question. Okay. Let's be real. Bryce Young hasn't done enough to justify a long-term mega deal. Nobody, not Dan Morgan, not Dave Canales. I know some of you Panthers fans, I don't know if there's any Panthers fans out there that are willing to say that. Even the Bryce lovers are willing to say that he deserves a mega deal. But we got to stop pretending otherwise that he does. He's not a top-tier quarterback today. He's not in the elite bracket. He's not resetting markets. And that's okay. The responsible, smart, professional move here is exactly what Carolina Panthers appear ready to do. Pick up the option, buy some time, build around him, see where the chips fall. Okay? Morgan is a method. Morgan is a roster builder. He knows what he's doing. Canales is a developmental coach who thrives with young quarterbacks. Okay? So throwing a massive contract at Young right now, I think would be reckless. But declining his option would even be more reckless, right? It would be borderline, I think, malpractice. Okay. If Young pops in year 4 or 5, great, extend him at $45 to $50 million range, because that's just what starting quarterbacks cost now. Ask Jacksonville about Trevor Lawrence. If he flatlines, you release him after 2026. Long-term damage, no long-term damage done. This is how smart franchises handle business. They don't panic. They don't panic off of blind optimism. They be very patient, right? But why picking up Bryce Young's 5th-year option to me is a no-brainer. There's a lot of reasons why to me. Okay? There's a lot of reasons why. Okay? You can make a bunch of cases. Here's the truth. You don't have a better option than Bryce Young right now. They're too good. That we're too good to get a draft high enough for a top rookie quarterback right now. Anyways, I don't want to draft a quarterback in this draft class. I could tell you that. I'm not a big fan of this year's draft class. All right. I'm not. I really don't like anybody in this draft class. No one stands out to me as a QB1 that can come out of college right now and truly be a game changer immediately and start as a starting quarterback in the NFL. We're also committed to our rebuild to blow it up for a veteran. They're too invested in Young's development to bail on him early. Meanwhile, they've used 10 different offensive line combinations this year. The receiver room is talented, but again, we are very, very young. It's not like Bryce Young has a veteran wide receiver that he can just rely on, that knows who's going to be able to bail him out when needed, right? Bryce Young's kind of had to make up his own, right? The tight end group, again, we were just talking about it earlier. There's still no clear tight end 1. And Robert Hunt, your best offensive lineman, hasn't played since week 2. Luckily enough, our offensive line has stepped up. But Young has been inconsistent. Bryce Young's been inconsistent. But the Panthers know most of the chaos around him isn't his fault. You pick up the 5th-year option, gives the team the runaway it needs to truly evaluate Bryce Young will be when he has the stability, talent, and continuity. 3 things he's barely had in the NFL the first 2 seasons. He just got it this year, right? Could picking up the 5th-year option backfire? Sure, but not picking up again is way riskier. So let's play out the nightmare scenario. Okay. Let's play out the nightmare scenario. Bryce Young bombs in 2026. Panthers eat 26 million. They move on. Annoying, sure. Franchise crippling, absolutely not. Because guess what? Now in the other scenario, they don't pick up the option. Young figures it out in year 4. Suddenly, you're negotiating with a quarterback who knows you don't fully believe in him, and instead of $26 million, he ends up asking for $50 to $55 million. This is why the option exists. Cheap protection for teams developing a young quarterback. All right. All right. The bottom line here is this, guys. The Panthers are going to pick up the option, and they should. Even as Bryce Young, I would say I'm one of his biggest critics, maybe. I don't know. And even the biggest critics like myself cannot deny the flashes are too good to ignore. The game-winning drives, the deep ball movement we're starting to see, the growth we've seen lately, how he's growing command of this offense. These aren't signs of a bust to me. All right. There are signs of a young quarterback figuring and fighting through adversity and slowly figuring this shit out. And it took longer than maybe expected. Took longer than maybe I liked. But Carolina, we are building something real. I just see it. I feel it. Young is growing. I think Canales is really trying to stabilize this offense with that identity, right? This defense is really starting to resemble a turnover-hungry machine once again. Everything is trending upward, but none of that matters if you don't give your quarterback time and support he needs. So picking up the option is the smart play. I think it's the safe play. And honestly, it's your only play at this point. If Young finishes strong, takes the Panthers to the playoffs, fantastic. If he doesn't, you still get 2 more years to find out who he really is. Either way, Carolina's future is a hell of a lot brighter today than it was a year ago. All right. All right. All right, let's do the playoff push. Let's finish up with that. I'm going to break down the offense and defense review tomorrow night. We're going to break that down tomorrow night. We already broke down some of the roster tonight. I'm going to break down the offense review, and I'm going to do an offense review and defense review tomorrow. Let's do the playoff picture. So let's go to the ESPN app. We got to do a playoff machine. There we go. All right. How does that? What is going on here? There's no way this is right. Yo, ESPN, y'all need to fix your playoff machine. There ain't no way this is right. Look at this. Y'all need to fix this. What is going on? There's no way this is correct. They got to fix this. So what if I do this? This can't be right, chat. Try to do the playoff picture for us. Let me try to do another one. Playoff machine. Okay, here we go. The one on ESPN, someone messed it up. Let's click on it again. No, it's still messed up. It's still messed up. Is it on here? I'm trying to find a playoff bracket we can do. Okay. Does anybody know a good playoff bracket to use? I think I'm going to have to use this one. All right. I think I'm going to have to use this one. What's up, Antonio? All right. So let's say we pick Detroit to win tonight. I'm picking Seattle to win that game. I picked the Ravens to win this. I put Cleveland to win that. I actually got Green Bay winning this. I got the Jags winning that game. I got the Commanders breaking their losing streak. Miami wins this game. Tampa beats the Saints. Denver's going to beat them. LA's going to beat them. I got Buffalo beating them at home. I got the Chiefs beating Houston. I've got the Chargers winning that. All right, so we go next, week 15. Okay, week 15. Yeah, we play. All right, so all right, y'all can't see that barely. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. I think the Bucks beat the Falcons, unfortunately. Bears would beat them. I think Baltimore gets revenge. Houston, Jags. I'll say the Chiefs beat them there. I'd say Buffalo gets the one back on them. Washington, Philly. Ooh, that's tough. Don't trust the Broncos, man. I just don't. You look at their schedule. I don't trust their schedule. I'm going with Green Bay. I think the Rams win. We beat the Saints. I think Seattle beats them. San Fran beats them. I think Dallas beats them. I'll take Pittsburgh in that matchup. All right, let's keep going real quick. I'm going to say Rams. I don't remember who won the first time. Say Bears at home here. I'll take Baltimore at home. So if we beat them here, we're in. See, we're going to have to beat, because if we lose here, though, let's see. See, that puts them at 10-5. We've got to win here. We got to win there. So it's basically, even if let's say we do this, let's say we beat them at home. Let's do the rest of these teams. We'll just do it quick. Get the Saints a win there. Jackson Dart's back. Easy. I'll give Atlanta a win there. I'm going to take the Jags over the Broncos. I'll take Detroit over Pittsburgh. Houston. I'll take Cincy in there. We'll give the Colts some bounce back game. All right. Let's say we win at home. So we got on a 2-game winning streak. We beat the Saints and then we beat the Bucks. See this scenario. All right, let's go to week 13. Let's say Dallas wins. Detroit, go Kansas City at home. Let's say I'm interested to see what would happen. Let's reset this. Let's reset this. Let's just simulate. I'm interested to see what this simulator does. Holy shit. This simulator says we go 11-6. So basically, this thing says we go on a 4-game winning streak. God dang. I wish the one on ESPN was working, chat. Wish the thing was working. All right, let's dive into this, though. I wish the one on ESPN was working. It'd be better. It'd be better. We did get some good news, chat. I'm going to put that up as well today. All right. Looks like Joe confirms in this segment here a bunch of stuff. So I wanted to put some good news up for you guys. Here's the thing. Here's why I think this team can absolutely make the playoffs. And I just want y'all to hear this. This team has been mostly labeled young, inexperienced, fun but flawed. But at some point, you have to stop calling this team upstart and just admit their problem. A legitimate playoff caliber team. With only 5 weeks remaining in this season, right? 27 of 32 teams are still technically alive in the postseason race, right? Which is funny. All right. You know, we're basically the ignorance of the youth. I know that sounds like the insult, but the honestly, one of the biggest reason Carolina has become the so damn dangerous is that they're playing. They aren't playing scared. They aren't playing tight. They aren't thinking about the rebuild timeline. Or the doubts or whether they're supposed to win a particular game. They just go out there and make life hell for whoever's across them. You take the Rams, for example. A league MVP frontrunner, Matthew Stafford, a 6-game winning streak with them, one of the best offensive resumes in the NFL, and a team that looked like a legitimate NFC contender. We responded by beating them 31-28 in an upset. Second time we've done that this season. Right? Again, this is a team that is finding its identity. Inconsistency, sure, but again, you're dangerous. That's why I keep thinking, that we are a dangerous team. I know we're not clean, or we haven't been consistent, and we haven't been perfect. Hell, sometimes we've been barely coherent. But after dropping 3 of their first 4 games, and they've won 6 of the last 9, that includes wins over multiple superior on-paper opponents. This isn't some Cinderella story destined to crumble. It's a legitimate football team that is tough as hell and has found their strengths. Okay? Bryce Young has finally said it again when it matters. No quarterback in the league has been under a microscope more than Bryce Young, but year 3 has brought that progress. You've noticed it. We just went over it. He's playing faster. He's attacking more confidently. He just outdueled Matthew Stafford by throwing 3 touchdowns and the biggest Carolina's win of the season. He's not perfect, but he's trending upward at the right time. Rico Dowdle, Tetairoa, McMillan are huge reasons this offense works. And shout out to Chuba Hubbard as well. But Rico still deserves a lot of credit because we wouldn't even, there's a lot of games we wouldn't have won without Rico Dowdle's performances stepping up. Right? Running back Rico Dowdle has turned into one of the most underrated free agent signings in the entire league. And it's going to be tough keeping him here because there's going to be a lot of people knocking on his door, ringing that cell phone. Okay. He's became a tone setter on this offense, that kind of back who gives an offense attitude. Tetairoa McMillan, he hasn't just been good, ladies and gentlemen. He's just ahead of schedule. Legitimate offensive rookie of the year candidate. He's explosive, physical, fearless, soft hands, the exact kind of weapon a quarterback needs. These two paired with Bryce Young's growing confidence, plus you got Chuba Hubbard, who's emerging after that game against the Rams. You saw Coker emerge in this game as well. The Panthers have enough offensive stability to compete with anyone, right? Now, this defense isn't elite, but it's clutch as hell. Carolina's defense has gone from the bottom of the league last year, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget about that in almost every category to a respectable, opportunistic unit in 2025. They're not dominant, but they make the kind of plays that swing games. And on Sunday, they didn't just make timely plays. They damn near created a highlight reel of Stafford mistakes, right? Stafford entered this game with like 28 to 30 touchdown passes, whatever it was. And I think he only had 2 turnovers in this before he got to us. Something crazy like that. Let me go look at his stats right now. Stats right now. Okay, sorry. He had 30 touchdowns before coming into this game. And he only had 2 interceptions. Now he has 4 because of us. An end zone interception that was batted by Derek Brown, a pick 6, a strip sack fumble. If this unit can stay healthy, keep generating turnovers like this, we are going to be a fun young team to watch. Or we're also going to be a team that people are saying, oh shit, we might have to deal with these guys in January. Again, this is not a team that is just a fluke. They are a threat, a legitimate threat, and that is the truth. At some point, you got to stop dismissing a team because they're young or rebuilding or inconsistent. At some point, the results speak louder than the narrative. I hope that going these next 4 games, we can continue to speak the results can continue to speak louder than the narrative because we've reached that point. They don't play scared. They don't back down. They don't give a damn about what the rest of the league thinks they're supposed to be. This team absolutely can make the playoffs. Not because they're overachieving. It's because they're good enough to earn it. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that heart. Okay? Hit that heart over there on X. I greatly appreciate it. You want to see that again? Hit that heart over there on X. Again, over here on YouTube, hit that like button. I appreciate you guys. I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that. Make sure you drop a follow. Okay? Hit that follow button. I would greatly appreciate that over on X. Make sure you hit that subscribe button over here on YouTube. Other than that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. We're going to break down this offense and defense review, right? This is the bye week offense and defense preview. Okay, we're going to break that down tomorrow night. All right. So I hope you guys join. All right. I'm going to try to put a nice PowerPoint together for you guys and break it down. All right, guys. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of this game. I'm going to watch this Thursday night game. I'm going to kick back and watch that. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're on X, make sure you hit the heart. All right. And drop a follow. Again, like over here on the YouTube. Subscribe. Greatly appreciate it, guys. And as always, I will see you guys tomorrow night. Y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.